Every woman has a sense of who they are and how they want to be seen in the world, but they don't always have a plan in place on how to do that. How do they make sure that their style and their image, their brand, shows up authentically? Well, that's why we have Jackie here today, and she's going to tell us a little bit about herself, why this topic matters to her, and why it should matter to you. Jackie, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm Jackie Wheeler, owner of Jackie Style Image and Branding Agency, and I've been doing this for 30 years. I have a degree in, oh, it's in fashion and multiple other little thingies along the side for that. So I've been doing this for a long time, and I've just really noticed how women have so many wonderful options and opportunities in our clothing and our style, image, and brand. And yet, sometimes we just don't know what the heck to do with it. So I love helping my client, that woman in the spotlight, show up by enhancing her style, image, and brand in the best possible way in her personal image so it's consistent wherever she goes, whether she's in person, on a podcast, networking, or just doing life. So that's what I do. That's who I am.
That's beautiful. And I can't think of a single person I know, single person, woman or otherwise, who doesn't have that sense of I this is who I am, but this what you see does not fully reflect that. And then how you tap into that. Because truly your personal style matters, right?
Yes.
I couldn't imagine coming to you wearing typical business clothes, the black and white, the straight lines. I would feel so awkward. You would see my shoulders touching my ears. Ugh, it gives me so much ick. So,
Yes.
how do you like? How do you even broach that conversation with someone who you can kind of tell or they know this isn't something's off? How do you dive into that?
Well, a lot of times, my clients come to me because of referral. Like they've talked to somebody else just authentically with somebody and said, I am experiencing this, and like, oh, you need to chat with Jackie. Um, or I meet them through, of course, meet them through networking and just have that conversation. Like they're like, oh, you do style. I've always wanted to know more about that or whatnot. And through conversation and just digging in, it's like, how do you feel? Like, is this authentic to you? I have a client who I just adore her. She, when we first met, she was in suits and she looked amazing. She was comfortable in the suit. She was, she was representing herself well as far as I knew. And the more that we delved in, the more that I got to know her, and we started talking more and more about image and style and like what she really loves. She really loves boho, but I have always, I know, right? I've
I
always
love
seen
that.
her only in this really corporate suited kind of a look, and it's always been beautiful. Like, again, she looked great, it fit her well, she was representing herself well, except for there was this secret part of her that was not a suited girl. And so we made the arrangement that I would come and see her closet, and I had no idea. So at this point I had no idea. So she's trusting me to be in her closet, she's trusting me for all these things. I walk into her closet and literally, it's like a little line. Half of it was corporate, like suited, and half of it was flowy and boho and beautiful prints and colors. And I was like, I don't understand. Like, what happened? Like, tell me about this. So she and I had to really dive into this conversation about she has this love and passion for boho. She's very artistic, very creative, which you can tell, like when we were talking even before. But someone told her once that in order to be successful, she had to wear suits.
Right.
And I was like, my friend, this is not how that works. You are going to be successful by being yourself and being authentic to you, your style, your image, and your brand. And if suits are not it, then don't do that. Well, it took her a little bit because that was habit and was consistent for her. So we talked about adding different colors, adding prints and patterns, doing different things. Until today, right now, today, there is no suit in sight for that girl.
Oh,
So
I love
she's
that.
living authentically today, which I absolutely love.
And it's so hard because sometimes, and imagine she felt this way too, that the suits kind of felt authentic
Yes.
because she had gotten used to them.
Yes.
So how do you know then if you're showing up in a corporate leaning role
Hmm.
and you're used to dressing a certain way and you're like, I'm comfortable, it's fine, I don't mind wearing heels, or I don't mind wearing whatever it is.
Yeah.
um how would you even know? Like what would be your here's how I want to put this. What would be your top 3 red flags that you're not
Ooh.
living in alignment with your personal style, image, and brand?
Okay. That's a great question. So I first, I when I'm working with someone, I look at, are you wearing your best colors? Are you wearing clothes best for your body type? Does this fit your fashion personality? And there's that question, they're like, oh, wait a minute. And I'm like, if you're being interviewed by Oprah, what are you wearing? And is it going to be that suit, right? So that,
Mm-hmm.
like, you can wear anything you want. If you're being interviewed by Oprah, what are you wearing? So that question actually helps open up some conversation. And then the other thing that I do is I'm like, what 3 words do you want to represent you when you show up somewhere? So
Mm.
when you're showing up on a podcast, if you're showing up on stage, if you're showing up for networking, whatever that is, how are you showing up? What 3 words? Because we only have one chance for first impression. There's never a second chance, right? But there's a lot that goes into first impressions, and so you get to control that with those words. So what does that look like? How does that feel? And so what 3 words? So usually between the fashion personality question, conversation, and those 3 words, then you're going to start finding that either, oh, I'm aligned here, or I'm not aligned somewhere. And so you'll be able to like click on those red flags. And the
Mm-hmm.
other piece is, if I'm in your closet or we're shopping together or whatnot, I'm going to start seeing them, because I'll will show you one thing and I'll see your face. I'll see your reaction to it. Like, naturally, maybe, yeah, suits are okay and I can wear them, but oh, you're showing me another suit. Okay, I'm gonna see that. Like, then we're gonna talk about it more about, okay, what was that? How did that feel? What was that? What did that bring up for you? Image consulting and wardrobing and all of these things are so intimate and so personal. Like, trust is a big, big thing. And I just allow my clients to just start trusting me in a big way.
And I can imagine it's a combination of trust in you and trust in themselves.
Yes.
I'm thinking that
Yes.
like you brought this to me. I've got a few notes. I had to take note here because I was thinking, wait, hold on, I've got all the
Yeah.
questions now. Um,
Okay.
but something came up for me just now about that is just that if I picture something in my wardrobe, and I have an eclectic wardrobe, not because I don't know in my head how I would like to dress, but I have never been a fashion person. So just to let our audience know, Shauna is not into fashion. Shauna doesn't care typically. I have a very, very deep appreciation for the art of fashion, um, as well as like makeup and that sort of thing. I never got into makeup until I showed up on camera. When and even to this day, I can tell you right now, I have a little bit of cover up for some spots, not all my spots because I got freckles. I can't cover those up. But but I have some color with lip gloss and a little bit of
Hmm.
mascara. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm not doing all
Balance.
the things, contouring. I'm not doing that stuff, right? Like that's not me. I don't I don't know. So just to put that out there, I know nothing. So I defer to you. But I think to myself, my wardrobe. Somebody holds something up to me. I know. Like I know what my face would make. Like I can see the image in my mind. Somebody brought that out and I'm like,
Mm,
that.
yeah.
So there's a story and then there's always something, right? And I feel like that trust that you were talking about with you, that intimacy, um, you really have to lean into that for yourself as well, because that's a very
Yes.
vulnerable. You need to admit something to yourself half the time
Hmm.
as you're admitting it to someone else.
Yep. That's so true.
That's so hard. And then, so that's, I just wanted to share that first, just to let everybody know, like, if you're feeling the things, I get you. I get it. um, but the other thing that came out for me here was you mentioned your colors, because here I am. I'm coming to you ignorant. Your colors, your body type. I know a little bit about that because I did get married. So I had a conversation about what dress I was meant to wear.
Yes.
Apparently, A line is my thing. I don't know. I had to learn what that was too. No clue. But like, how would you know that? Like you say that would be a red flag for you because you have that knowledge. But if you're dressing and you think I think I look pretty damn good, but then you would know if
Mhm.
they don't.
So I find a lot of times you start realizing you start choosing colors that you're getting complimented on. So it's and sometimes they're like as far as color analysis for colors, like the color part of that, sometimes you're getting complimented on things that maybe aren't the best ones. But usually if you're being complimented, oh, Shauna, I really love that color on you. It looks so gorgeous, right? So you will self-consciously start going, oh, people like it when I wear this color, right? So it's, and then you'll realize, oh, nobody's saying anything when I wear this one
Right.
or less, or they'll be like, or the question is, are you feeling okay? And usually that's based on color, the color that you're wearing.
Oh,
Yeah, because it's a part of like how your skin reacts to the color that's around your face, right? So if you're nice and healthy, then you're having your best colors. If you're looking not as healthy, then it's not your best colors or framed well. So you're kind of like already sort of doing it without knowing it. Once you find out what your best colors are, which I give you a whole gamut of them, there's not just one best color. There's lots of best colors for someone. And then that's when you get to decide, are you going to use color as a part of your style, image, and brand? Like I use purple as a part of mine. You can decide whether or not there's a signature color or not. And or you can decide, no, I just like them all. I'm going to do whatever I want. And that's, that's a part of that process. As far as body type, a lot of women think they're one thing, and um, a- and they're not. Like there's
fair. Call it
right,
what it is. Yeah,
right. They're
absolutely.
they're like because they're self conscious about certain parts of their body, or they're this. Oh, I'm a this or I'm a that,
And the media
and
doesn't help with that.
no, no, it does not.
Mm,
And magazines, media, fashion, the fashion industry is not necessarily help with that. Body type for me is not about a right or wrong. There is no right or wrong body type. It's just who you are and what looks best on your shape, right? It's about how to enhance or dehance the things that you want. You also, there's a little bit of that within the with your peers. Like there's going to be a, oh, that style looks so cute on you. Like there's going to be a little bit of that. You may not be able to put, oh, I'm an hourglass or I'm a
right.
triangle or I'm a this, but there's going to be a little bit of that. Oh, I get compliments when I wear things that are belted, or I get more compliments when there's this, that, or the other. You'll notice those tweaks or those little things. Um, and it's going to be in the in the subconscious. It's not necessarily like, I now know that I'm a, you
Right.
know,
Right. You know,
I will
but
know.
the average person will be like, okay, I'm going to wear. What comes to me is that the color of green that I'm wearing right now, I frequently get comments on it because my eye color changes, and so
Mhm.
I have. You can see anyone who's watching the video. I've got green eyes today because of
You're
this,
wearing the green.
and so if I wore teal, which I also get complimented on, my eyes will turn blue.
Very
So
fun.
right? So it all
Yeah.
depends. And it's like blue, right? So you can see the difference. And I intentionally, and this is just to let people know the marketing aspect of this, right? When you're
Mhm.
talking about your brand, I do have a brand. It's a personal and professional brand. And my brand colors are green and gold. And so it makes sense intentionally for me to wear more of the green than the teal. Not that I don't love the teal, not that I don't love it when my eyes pop blue, but in this context, it makes sense. And I also feel cozy in it. It's earthy. So you get a vibe, you get a like an intuitive sense. And I think that's really powerful. And I think that is what you meant when you were talking about fashion personality.
Well, personality is kind of that what clothing styles like speak to you. So are you do you love the more frilly and the florals? Do you rufflies? Like are you more interested into the very classic, very clean lines? Are you just like throw it all out the door and I want whatever's in and that's it? Or are you wanting comfort and cozy and comfort is a like those things. And then
I get
I've
it.
added one and I call that the eclectic fashion personality where you can move in and out of any of those four that I just mentioned, um, based upon your situation and where you're at and the life, like what part of your life that you're hanging out in. So my mom, like if I'm being mom like, I'm definitely in the cozy hanging out. And if I'm doing this, then I tend to do more um it's called more dramatic. I tend to be more dramatic and classic. So
I
that's
like that. The
yeah,
dramatic, the
dramatic.
drama.
Oh.
Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely. And
Yes.
I think a lot of people would resonate with that too. Like not just in different spheres, but just in different days. Sometimes you don't feel it.
Yeah.
Last time we chatted, I was wearing a nice summer dress and it was golden colored. Today I'm wearing a it's a professional hoodie. Like it's not a big bulky thing, right?
Yes.
Um, but the theme here, and I think this is interesting because I would consider myself reasonably eclectic and I vary depending on the situation and mood, but they always have an anchor, and that
Mm,
anchor is very earthy and
mhm.
very comfortable.
There you
Even my
go.
professional attire, even if I'm going to a really like there's a local place here that literally hosts celebrities, and sometimes I get to go to networking events there. Even when I go there, I'm comfortable. You're not going to see me putting on a jacket just because. I'm going to
Mhm.
wear a more I wouldn't say flowy, but a what do you call this?
Looser, less
I can
structured. Yeah.
I can move in this,
Yes.
right? I could even in my most formal attire, I could climb a tree.
Mm.
And that's a very important part of what I do with the clothing
Right.
that I choose.
So I think that is part of fashion personality, but I really feel like that is a part of that style image brand piece, right? So all those other things bring us to what do you want your style image and brand to say about you? And you are your walking billboard. You are, you are your walking message. And so I feel that particular piece that you're talking about right now really fits into that style image brand. Style is that how you want to be perceived. Image is how other people see you, and your brand is what you're uh, like that overall arching between the two.
But usually
So
it's that whole idea of what people say about you when you're not in the room.
yeah, yes, yes, right, yes.
Yeah.
So I feel like what you're saying right now really fits into that, like who you are. Like that's your branded piece. That's like that whole image there. And that's awesome that you are very aware, and that's great. Like you should be. Like you're like this fabulous branded market B
Well,
person.
and I think that, and I don't want to diminish anyone's no, that's not the right word. I don't want you to think that I'm so aware that I actually have a good closet. If you were to come to my closet, you'd be like, "What is happening?" I think I have an Alice in Wonderland dress in there. I
Oh
don't know.
gosh,
It's in
that's
there,
awesome. I
right?
love that.
It exists.
It
Um,
exists.
so, like, I don't want to fool anybody. Uh, and working in marketing,
Mm,
your style, image, and brand being a really important part of marketing, a human-centered part of marketing. I've had the opportunity and the privilege to reflect on who I am, who my business is, and how I want to show up in conglomeration of the two. Um, and that really is a privilege to be able to have taken the time to shake hands with her. Uh, And I think that's where you're coming from when you say that, which I graciously accept that. That's very nice. And I think that that's a conversation that needs to be had more. And for all those watching, this is literally what Jackie does. So, I mean, do the thing. That said, I have so many questions because I wanted to talk about hair. I'm known for my braid. I wanted to talk about glasses. I wanted to talk about all these things, but there are only so many hours in a day.
Oh, we'll just
So,
have to do this again, girl.
oh, well, that's it, right? Like I'm so curious because I truly don't have the background that you bring forth in this realm of marketing. And when you're considering marketing in a local context in particular, online is the same because as you can see us in our current digital age, but in person is even more pronounced when it comes to your style, image, and brand. So, that said, I could ask you all the questions, but we don't have the time in the day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to reflect for a moment on the most needed piece of advice out there within this nutshell. I don't know why I'm using that one, but within this nutshell. And in the meantime, I want to remind everybody here, that we're not going anywhere. These conversations happen every single week. We dive into all different aspects of what does it look like to show up in your brand. And this expands beyond your style and image. This also goes into what's your digital presence like? What is your brand messaging like? How are you creating consistency across those things? And then subsequently, how are you marketing it? How are you then taking that visual brand and putting it out into the world in a way that attracts your dream clients, converts them into paying clients, and nurtures them through their experience with you in a way that makes them want to come back, refer others, and leave amazing testimonials, right? We want that to be some of the end goals of our branding and marketing strategy. With that, I digress. Join us for the next conversation because it's coming up every single week. Jackie, please tell the world, what do they need to hear about their style, image, and brand in order to really elevate who they are and how they show up?
Well, I really want to reiterate that um, when I'm talking with my clients, is that it's so, so very important that you are authentic to yourself, that you are not in that space of, I should look like this or I should present myself this way. My goal is for you to always show up authentically based upon the things that we talked about. So I want you to just remember that authenticity is the best key, the best thing as for your style, image, and brand. And just trust yourself. And if you're ready, just come and see me.
I love that so much. And there are more ways that they can come to see you because you have amazing resources to offer as well. Can you talk about your
Yes.
style guide as well?
Yes, so I have on my website, there is a couple of fun things to look at based upon your basics needs that you might have for your wardrobe that maybe you might be missing, or there's just kind of a guide of like what 3 words do you want to use when you're showing up, and then you can look at those. There's a couple things there on my website for free gifts, so you might find one that you love. I really hope so, and then I would love to share that with you.
That's so beautiful. And don't forget to keep the conversation going, everyone. Honestly, this is just the tip of the iceberg. As I said, I have questions abound. I mean, I wrote Oprah's name on my thing. We didn't even get to talk about Oprah today. So if you're like, wait, Oprah? Reach out to Jackie. She's got you covered. And those 3 words, which words? What are they supposed to be rooted in? Where are we going with them? How do I elaborate on that? How does that help me to connect? There are all the questions. I get it. It's okay. We got you covered. Reach out, join the conversation, leave a comment, right? And subscribe so that we can keep the conversation going. With that, if you are feeling like, okay, branding and style, my image, rock on. I've got Jackie. But what about my brand messaging and how I'm showing up online? That's where Shauna comes in. So please go to shaunalee.com. That's www.shaunaleighh.com and reach out. There's a form there. Say, hey, Shauna, I saw your podcast and we need to chat. And we will. With that, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Make sure that you Pick something that makes you feel damn good to wear. We'll chat soon. See you later.